Hey guys, let's talk about how to create your true destiny. But before we can do that, I have to ask you a question, and I need you to really think about it. And the question is this: is your destiny predetermined? And I want you to really think about it. You guys who are walking your dogs right now, take 30 seconds, take a minute. You're on the treadmill, you're listening on a plane. I'm going to pause a second. I want you to really think about it. What's your gut reaction? Do you think your ultimate destiny has already been decided? Or do you believe you can make something specific happen? What do you think? Here's what I will suggest. I think for most people, their destiny is predetermined because they don't know any better, because they've never developed self-awareness. And they're one of those people who are just victims of the matrix. And of course, by matrix, I mean the marketers and the government and the media and social media and all of the entities and people and institutions that want to program them to be puppets on a string and follow their commands. The marketers who are trying to sell you shit that you don't need, the governments that are trying to enslave you and package it like they're liberating you, the social media platforms that are doing everything in their power to addict you to stay more hours a day on their platform, the regular traditional media, which are doing their best with sensationalism and clickbait based on fear and creating rage to get you to spend more time, to get more time with your eyeballs or your ears, whatever their particular platform is. And then just the other institutions, movements, political campaigns, who are trying to get you to do things that they want you to do for their own good. You're receiving literally thousands of messages a day, input, information, determined to program you what to think, do, and behave. And for the people who don't have self-awareness, their destiny is determined. It is predetermined. By the time they reach 50 years old, they're going to be somewhere between 40 and however many pounds overweight. They're going to be taking somewhere between 8 and 20 daily prescriptions in order to stay out of the hospital or the coffin. They will have completely calcified their way of thinking. They will have gone so down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories and so down the rabbit hole of whatever, whether it's liberal or conservative, whatever political silo that they've been programmed to go down. Their relationships will be set in stone. They will die a very unhealthy, unhappy death. And that's predetermined because they never took control of their destiny. And yet I hold this optimistic view of the world, and why I do this Power Prosperity podcast is because I believe for bold, bright, and courageous people, they do determine their destiny. They are able to create their destiny, their true destiny. And it all begins with living an examined life. Like I said, you're assaulted with a constant waterfall of thoughts. And without self-awareness, without examining those thoughts, you become a slave to those thoughts because you hear a beep on your phone. Oh, you pick up the phone and it says your ex-spouse made a post on Instagram. So you gotta instantly go see what he or she said. And of course, it triggers you into, and then you get angry about that. And then you're going to get another update that's going to take you down the rabbit hole of another post to click, and then a blog, and then a podcast. And you're just manipulated through your day. And you really are a slave to your thoughts. And so when they say what you really need to do right now is pick up the phone and order this pizza, which has 5,000 calories on it, and a 6-pack of this sugary diet soda with hundreds or thousands of more calories, and some cinnamon buns for dessert. And you should consume all this while you're watching a telenovela on TV, which is going to program you with a bunch of other commercials, 20 minutes every hour, of other crap you should buy to make someone else happy. And you will think that you are having your own thoughts, but you're not. You're just having the thoughts that are being programmed into you. The thing you got to understand, and I know most of you do, that's because you're here every episode. You follow these, you share them, you like them, you think about them, you do the homework when I assign it. You think about the subjects in ways that you never thought about before. Know this, simply because you have a thought doesn't mean it has dominion over you. You always have a functional override. So when I'm watching the baseball game and they show me that commercial and want me to buy the 5,000 calorie pizza and the 6-pack of diet soda and the cinnamon rolls for dessert, I have the choice to say, no, I'm not putting all that crap into my body. I'm going to go into my kitchen where I have something healthy I'm going to eat. It's only, listen to this, this will sound controversial to some people, but I really believe it. It's only when you examine your thoughts that you become a sentient being. And I don't say that to be mean or snarky when I say millions and millions of people on the earth going about their day-to-day life are not sentient beings. They have no more critical thinking ability than Alexa behind me. Alexa, what day of the week is it?
Today is Tuesday, June 14th.
All right.
So you know, I can now share gift ideas from Amazon's gift guide. Want to hear one now?
Did you guys hear that? So I asked Alexa what day it was. She told me the day. And then she said, by the way, I can share gift guides from Amazon. Would you like to hear it? To, give me a thought that I didn't choose that I could fall prey to or I could override. I've chosen to override that thought, right? So I'm saying for most people, they have no more critical thinking ability than that voice assistant that I just asked that question to. They're just responding to the stimuli that they get fed. Once you mindfully choose thoughts, when you become the thinker of the thought, you start to control your destiny. You're still going to have all these other people who want to program you and manipulate you, people and entities, and you're still going to get assaulted with all those mind viruses and other stimuli. But if you're mindful about them, if you notice them, if you analyze them, if you think, well, why is this person or entity putting this idea in my head to begin with? Is this really for my highest good that I order that 5,000 calorie pizza? I mean, I love P.F. Chang's, right? So I went to P.F. Chang's for lunch today. And I ordered the dinner version of Mongolian chicken, my favorite dish. And I love P.F. Chang's because they have brown rice, which is a complex carbohydrate. So it's much healthier than white rice. So I ordered the dinner, the Mongolian beef, chicken, the Mongolian chicken. I ate it. And then I asked for take-home container to take it home. And I have 2 more meals that I'm going to get from that meal. Here's the problem. 90% of the people who go into P.F. Chang's and order that exact same dish that I order eat the whole thing there. And I have no idea how many calories it is, but it's 3 meals for me. I'm 6'2". I'm 210 pounds. That's 3 meals for me. There's a lot of people going in there, men and women, who are 2, 4, 6 inches shorter than me, but weigh the same as me or more. And they finish that meal because they've been programmed. You eat everything on your plate. And they've watched so many commercials and they're so unhealthy, and they have so much bad bacteria in their digestive tract that they are physiologically forced to eat that whole meal without even thinking about it. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about when I say, I'm not saying this to be mean and judgmental. I'm saying this to say, wake up, take control of your destiny. Stop allowing other people to set your destiny because they don't have your highest good at heart. A life examined creates a sculpted destiny. A life not examined is a predetermined destiny where you are assimilated by the forces of the Matrix. It's like, for you Star Trek fans, you remember the Borg, you will be assimilated, resistance is futile. That's what it means for people who don't examine their life. So let me give you some things to examine, some thoughtful things for you. This guy named Tim Urban, I think his Twitter handle is Wait But Why. Is it Wait But What? Anyway, search Tim Urban on Twitter or just Google him. But I'm pretty sure his newsletter is Wait But What, I think is what it is. So he did this chart and he put dots for every week of your life. And Sam Harris talks about this. Tim Ferriss talks about it. Naval Ravikant has mentioned it. I've seen 20 different people that I respect or know or love or friends of mine who have said, have you seen this chart by Tim Urban? What he did is he put a dot for every week of your life. And he said, hey, I think it's 90. The average person lives to be 90. So he's got 52 dots, one for each week of a year, and it's 90 lines of dots. And then he says, fill in all the dots where you are right now. Well, if you're 61 years old or 57 years old or 49 years old, you fill in each of those dots, you start to get a look of, wow, this is how many of these dots have already been filled in that I'm never going to live again. I already lived that week. And that's assuming that you live till 90, that a meteorite doesn't land on your car with you in it tomorrow, that you don't get a blowout as you go over the bridge and crash and drown, that you don't get a bad medical diagnosis of something that kills you. That's if you live to 90. And I know a lot of people don't live to 90, right? So think about that. Where are you at? If you had Tim's chart, and I think he should make that a poster and sell it, right? And people should put it on their wall and color in every week when it happens. And then ask yourself, is that 90 real for me? Because we know women empirically, no, that's not the right word, but anecdotally, that's not the right word, but statistics would tell us that the actuary tables would tell us women have longer life expectancies than men. So maybe more women live to 92, but more guys ended at 87 or 86, right? And then the other question to ask is, hey, would it really be a great life to 90? Or if I live to 90, Are the last 4 years going to be really difficult because I'm in the hospital with emphysema and I've got diabetes and I'm taking 12 medications a day and I've had 2 hips replaced and I can barely walk and I'm in pain? How many real weeks do you have left to live a prosperous life, assuming that nothing bad happens? Next thing to think about, do you schedule any regular planned reflection time? If you read my Mad Genius book, you know I schedule thinking time in my planner every week. I get a green tea, a journal, a pen, sit on the balcony, gaze out the window, whatever, and I just think. Something comes up, I write it down in my journal. I schedule that every week. Do you meditate? Do you pray? Do you have some spiritual time that, and really important, just really reflect on what's important in your life. I mentioned Sam Harris. He, in his Waking Up app, he's got a segment where he was talking about, is this the last time? Meaning, okay, let's suppose you're driving your kids to Disney World. And they're like, are we there yet? No. Are we almost there yet? Are we almost, that's so irritating. You just want to strangle those kids, right? But at some point in your life, you're going to say, oh man, I remember driving them to Disney World and they kept saying, are we there yet? What I wouldn't give to have my little child ask me that question again. When you go to dinner when you call your mother this week, will this be the last time that you ever call her? When you go to movies with your best friend, is this the last time you'll ever go to the movies together? And just so the homework I would assign you is pick one day a month, and all that day, everything that happens in your life, ask yourself the question, what would I do if I knew this was the last time I was ever going to be doing this? Right? I love to play softball, you guys know. So I've got a game tomorrow night. Tomorrow is my day to think. I'd be saying, well, if tonight is the last softball game I'm ever going to play, how would I approach that? So take one day a month, every month, and do that and ask is this the last time? Next thing, a little shameless promotion. If you haven't already, please read my book, Radical Rebirth. It's really the culmination of all my work on self-development, personal growth, prosperity consciousness, how you can recreate yourself and live the most prosperous life, become the highest possible version of yourself. And the last little bit of examination I would suggest is to examine the question, what are you dying of right now? Because everybody is dying, right? Some are dying faster than others. There are people who are dying today and they will take their last breath tonight. And there are people who are dying today and they will take their last breath in 75 years from now. But we're all dying. We're all facing oxidation. Our internal organs are oxidizing and growing older. And at some point, they will fail and we will cease being alive. But some of us do really foolish things to accelerate that process. So I would ask you, are you dying of old age? Or are you dying of alcoholism because you are drinking an unhealthy amount of alcohol? Are you dying from drug addiction because you are taking some kind of substance which is killing you slowly or even quickly? Are you dying of heart disease because you are eating such an unhealthy diet and raising your cholesterol levels and your blood sugar, your blood pressure levels so high that it's very likely that your last breath is going to come as you're gasping of a heart attack or stroke and you die? I don't want to be morbid. I ask the question and I ask you to consider the question because I want to be prosperous. And I want you to think about what might you want to reconfigure in your life so that you could answer that question. Hey, I'm dying of old age, and I hope to die young at a very advanced age. So thanks for playing all out with this. If you're really thinking about these questions, if you're really doing that examination, and I will just take us back to where we began and ask you, is your destiny predetermined or are you creating it? Go out and have an amazing day, guys. Peace. I love you.